King and Carl and Lucimu at the Four Dragons Casino decided to move into Mad Dog Mansion after accusing him. However, Mad Dog revealed that the Los Santos Vegas controlled his mansion because he gave it away for drugs. The Triads and Carl flew to the mansion in the Andromeda plane and parachuted onto it. After parachuting onto Mad Dog Mansion, Carl must kill everyone on the roof and descend chasing Big Papa, local boss. If Big Papa wasn't killed inside the mansion, he will board the things outside and the player will be crushed until Big Papa's death. Mad Dog's mansion is now available for CJ to live in. Fortunately, the Megas privatized Magdon mansion in a brazenly criminal manner and the Rota police ignored them. Otherwise, I don't know what kind of Wild West I seen the takeover houses. Kajun soon meeting with Mike Torino. Mike Torino asks CJ to complete one last test, but CJ gets annoyed and threatened to kill him. However, Carl received a call from Sweet, learning that he is being released from prison, and Carl asks Mike what the last task is, and Torino says it's nothing less than pick up his brother. The job is done. Yes, Sidoji surfaced a bit for no apparent reason, but everyone's happy. And most important, no one kills Sidoji just in case. Fortunately, because he's a very successful warrior. For your information, I don't know for a single case of truly high-quality warriors being eliminated just in case even in history as well, let alone in the history of some organized crime groups. That's the injustice of life. If you are a really good fighter, really good warrior, no one will shoot you just in case. But if you're some kind of mediocre performer, they will definitely do it. Then Sweet and Carl, seen as Wall Street, has gone into this line started selling drugs, and they return to the streets by killing the villains in the arena. After seeing an interview with OG Log, to say OG Holt on television and hearing that he shamelessly passes off stolen songs as his own, Carl and Mad Dog decided to teach the plagiarist a lesson. Arriving in the TV studios, they catch OG Log by surprise. The brazy rapper tries to escape Carl and Mad Dog on the vortex. Then, on the map, my friends catch him up. Coach OG Log tries to deny plagiarism and even tries to buy his way out of justice. Well, you know, for some, no one knows how it exists this reason. OG Log have note with songs of Mad Dog. Who know where he can get it? Who know? One of the studio producers, Jimmy Solomon, witnesses the shutdown and immediately offers Mad Dog a contract, simultaneously making it clear that OG Log's rap career is gloriously over. The situation ends without bloodshed. Incidentally, Carl kills the manager aunt for no apparent reason, as we see now. But since he's like a good warrior, we doesn't bear responsibility from Homo sapiens. That's how life exists. Sweet is planning to take head of Craig for one of beat-up's drug-addicted prostitute, but Sidoji stops him. Carl and Sweet decided to deal with Dee-Ba-Doo-Dub. They go to his apartment but discovered his moved to Glen Park, where the duo immediately head. Return home after long and forced absence, Carl and Sweet decided to deal with B-Dub-Dub, who is actively distributing and sells drugs. Distributing drugs, which has led to the decline of Wall Street gangs. After first visiting B-Dub-Dub house in Genton and learning from a junkie that B-Dub-Dub now lives in a mansion in the Glen Park area, there is distant of killer tree battles. The brothers hid there. Having secured an entire neighborhood, Carl and Sweet eliminated B-Dub-Dub security and breaks into his apartments. B-Dub-Dub admits to walking for Big Smoke but doesn't know where he is, but Sweet still threatens to kill B-Dub-Dub. B-Dub calls B and orders him to kill Carl and Sweet. But Big knocks B-Dub-Dub out cold and heated in his face, tired of the drugs and unwilling to clear the house. They asks Carl to take him back to Wall Street, promoting to get straight, and Sweet takes him to the hospital for drug rehab. By the way, you need no drug rehab because to remove medication it's need 3 hours. So I don't know why this drug rehab exists only for really hard case maybe, but not as usual junkie. Sweet is thrilled to see Carl and wants to let the others against knowing the Grove Street families are back. Carl is unsure and wants to focus on other his business. Sweet asks the gang members to leave this, scolds Carl for giving up halfway and forgetting his priorities. Carl tries to convince Sweet that the vault isn't just Grove Street, but Sweet disagrees, saying that exactly what Big Smoke said before his betrayal. Carl surrenders, and the Johnson brothers set off to restore the Grove Street families to their former glory. Of course, that talk was in GTA San Andreas introduction, where Big Smoke said that vault isn't just Grove Street, and planned with Ryder to kill Sweet Johnson and his mother. First of all, they try to drive by with Ballas and try to kill him. He don't kill them, only wouldn't Sweet's mother, and then try to kill them at ceremony of burying Carl Johnson and Sweet Johnson's mother. Unsuccessfully, as you see. The Johnson brothers hit to Idlewood, one of the Ballas gang territories, and start a gang war. On the territory secured the heir to another Ballas gang territory, where Carl and Sweet start another gang war and retake the neighborhood. Then they return to Grove Street and Sweet goes for a nap. Having explained their territory, the Grove Street families are proving themselves a force to be reckoned with in Los Santos. I honestly don't know why Sweet and Carl are so screwed by this ghetto backwater. This ghetto shithole. What's the point of living in this ghetto? The whole world is open to you, especially since Carl has some good cash now. On the other hand, no one's stopping Carl from leaving the ghetto and living somewhere else once he is finished with this whole adventure of cleaning streets from drugs. But you know, you would clear drugs dealers, then would come other drug dealers. It's like circle of nation, circle of drug dealers. CJ, Sweet, and their fellow high-staked entrepreneurs learn on the news that Timpani has been arrested for corruption. For those who don't know, corruption is not just about giving and taking colored paper. The word corruption means depravity, gluttony, fornication, education, the murder of other common sapiens without a declared war, a lack of principles and morals. All of this constitutes depravity. And giving and taking colored paper as a bribe is just one of them. Frank Pulaski and Eddie Timpani has been in charge with racketeering, corruption, and drug trafficking, including the murders of Officer Pendle Perry and others. Carl Kendall Mesa throws Sweet, Isabel Panda, and Mad Dog watch news in the living room of Mad Dog's mansion. Sweet thinks Timpani will get 20 years, but Caesar disagrees, saying the cops might get a reduced sentence. I suppose that Mactorino tried something moves, so Timpani was caught by so-called law, because before, no one even interested in Timpani. What he's doing, how much he's drug trafficking, how much he's gun trafficking, and other. It's later turned out that the court overturned the sentence due to lack of evidence. All of the witness has disappeared and Timpani was released. This sparked unrest in the city. Sweet asked for a right to get on with the less unrest. From now on, the streets are in mess, in butthole. Everyone attacking everyone robbing everyone raping everyone. Then Caesar asked Carl Johnson to help reclaim his around the neighborhood from the blazing rivals, who took advantage of the street riots that erupted in the previous mission to put the barrels of the stakes on their tail. Carl claims he is busy with his neighborhood, but Swiss asks him to help because he needs to repay his friends. And indeed, it was thanks to Cesare Villepando, albeit indirectly, that Carl acquired his sick business. If it were not for Caesar, Carl would not have met Uzimu. If it were not for Caesar, he would not have opened free business because he would not have won Catalina garage in race with a fucker. And if it were not for Caesar, Carl would not have gained influence and free business in Las Venturas or Golden Suite, and Elder relies in the deal with Mike Torino along with a ton of connection to build. It all starts with Caesar, and I urge you not to ignore those who have directly helped you in life. Gratitude is a valuable thing. Even out of pure self-love, it makes sense to express gratitude because you never know how those who helped you before will help you in the future. And accompanied by Caesar and two owner of Wall Street families, member who happened to be near the car arrives at the station where he meets whereas authorities Sunny, Haze and Gal with their competent efforts Kill Bill cosplay with katana, they destruct is cleared of invaders. Carl Johnson and Sweet Johnson decided to finish off Big Smoke for betraying them Roof Street family. However, when Carl was reclaiming territory in Los Santos from rebel gang, Sweet interrogated a Vegas member and found Big Smoke location with soldering iron in a trick. He has his own crack palace in Los Flores, in eastern Los Santos. Carl and Sweet reach Big Smoke drugged in and stop normally. Carl tells Sweet he will go after Big Smoke himself, which Sweet protests. Carl counters that he let Brian die while in Liberty City Walls, and Big Smoke, Eddie Pulaski, and Frank Tempany uses him for their dirty dealing, forcing Carl to deal with Smoke himself. After the cutscene ends, the game warns the player that the entrance to the drug den is heavily guarded and must be rammed with something heavy. The game points to SWAT vehicle parked nearly the clash between SWAT and Bella's member Q's. And I remember you that Big Smoke and Ryder were one of the planners to kill Brian and killed Smoke and kill his Smoke's mother. And I mean about killing Smoke, like remove education, you know. To killing Sweet at his mother's burial. That's how plan they exist in their head, but unsuccessfully. After breaching the wall of the chemistry lab with a stolen sweat tank, Carl fights his way into Smoke's apartment, where he must navigate 3 floors, each of which is teeming with members of the Ballas, Los Santos Vargas, Sulfur Rifa, and Russian Mafia, attempting to kill Carl. Upon reaching the 4th floors, the cutscene begins immediately followed by a battle with Smoke. In the cutscene, Big Smoke sits on the couch playing a video game while Carl approaches him from behind, aiming the desert at him, and calls out to him for attention. Big Smoke's claim he exists to see Carl in the apartment and takes him hit from his bunk. CJ threatens to deal with him personally and his friends in police. Smoke Riddler replied that he doesn't care about police, he fuck about gang members, fuck of rest of the world, demonstration his indifference or to his surrendering. Smoke also confesses to CJ that money, drugs and power have taken over him. Carl wonders that happened to Big Smoke, who pulls a combat shotgun from the safe and the 2 points the weapons at each other, because Big Smoke butts up and fires fight. Carl is forced to kill him, a decision he regrets slightly. Murder is witnessed by none of the asses at Officer Tempany, who, having grabbed Big Smoke's suitcase filled with money, unsuccessfully attempt to kill Carl and escape after setting the lab on fire. Tempany, in a cutscene, appears indifferent to Big Smoke's death, likely considering him a pawn. After escaping the burning building, Carl is forced to pursue Tempany for a long time as he attempts to escape in an early fire trap. However, the officer loses control and his car crashes through a bridge barrier in the Ganton neighborhood, crashing right on Carl and Sweet's streets. Frank Tempany dies minutes later after the crash, right before the eyes of Carl, Sweet, Caesar, Kendall, and the seemingly out of nowhere Mr. Truth. Then reunite Johnson's family, then go into the house and together with Caesar discuss the gang's next step. A few minutes later, Mad Dog, Mickey, Ken Paul and Ken Rosenberg enter the Johnson house. Mad Dog shows his friend his first gold disc and to Cheese announces his upcoming tour, while Mickey reveals his plans to get breast implants. Finally, Carl decided to go outside and see What's going on in the street? Let's assume Carl Johnson didn't even touch banknotes. Why would he? They are material evidence. Let the investigation determine it was an accident during a wild adrenaline-fueled drive. Ultimately, this part of Karl Ivanov's story ends here. I know, there is call by psychopath Catalina. She calls to Karl and fucking with his cuckold Claude, which she would betray in future. And we already know that she would betray him in GTA not San Andreas, but some kind of GTAs where Claude was main character. And that it's end. And yes, it's end. Well, I want to say I absolutely love this game. What I do know about this game, I repeat it, is that they invited actual gangsters of streets to vote the characters, and they made their own adjustment to how realistic or unrealistic things were in scenario. The only thing is, of course, they didn't consult with criminals. If when creating the game, they'd consulted with some Larry Lawton or someone like him about how to more realistic organize all these robberies and so on, it would have been cool. Because already in GTA 5 it's clear that they did consult. They consulted either with the security services or with criminals, or they did more thought preparations themselves. Because it doesn't have the unrestrained high-flying action that GTA San Andreas has, where you are wiping out everyone from a fighter jet, as far as I remember at least. I don't remember any mission where you have to shoot, kill and destroy everyone from a fighter jet. I don't remember such mission in GTA San Andreas. Maybe there was one, but I don't remember. I remember GTA 5 as a game with constant haste, but you have to prepare for them carefully, and you can rob them by stealth. That is, you can choose richly the careful parent precision haste. Oh well. I like GTA San Andreas idea. It was kind of moral that says don't fuck with crazy people, otherwise it will end badly. Don't betray your friends and loved ones for the sake of colored cutted paper, because you never know how your fate will turn out. For example, Big Smoking Rider, if they had not been up to no good, Caesar would have made Carl anyway, Caesar would have put Carl in front of Wuzimu, they would have talked, Wuzi would have called Carl and said, come on, we have business for you, and shot Karl Ivanovich, they could have advanced to the next level of money making. And all this situation with betraying would not happen. Carl could have talked with Mike Torino and just walked with him for the thought, interacted with him and not for the liberation of Carl Johnson. Or on the contrary, the situation would have happened when Sweet Johnson would have been thrown in jail, and it would have taken a lot of effort to get Sweet Ivanovich out. But in any case, Ryan and Big Smoke, if they hadn't been such lovers of silver, so overly fond of it to the point of perversion and corruption, they think the fate would have turned out much better. I still periodically notice, I come across some character on YouTube who have temporarily received some piece of shredded cutted colored paper, but this wealth doesn't really belong to them, because at any moment the dictates of the state can come and pinch the slave's owner, take it away. Pupils, and they brag. Money. I didn't understand them, of course. Why brag? So you got the dog? Well, enjoy it. Enjoy your wealth. Why shout about it, tell everyone you get it? Or is your joy in showing off to someone? That's stupid. Insecurities ruin Big Smoke. Insecurities ruins Ryder. Insecurities ruin even that same company. He could have died with his job and spent. He died on his job and can't spend all money on his needs. Of course not. He could have gone into business, gotten involved in it, and not right away. He would have achieved a relatively good level of wealth. What's the point of your wealth if you risk your life every day for cutted colored paper? Your colleagues in dangerous business can set you up in any moment, and they really colleagues, because I have a joke about colleagues when the wolves cheat dog after plundering the houses. The dog says, don't eat me, I can be useful for you. The wolf asks, how so? I can help you with catching sheep into the forest, because I'm a dog, I'm inconspicuous, and you wolves, you conspicuous. and we will eat together ships. They agreed and hunt like this in 3 years. They wintered together, but they would hungry in this winter. So the wolves ate the dog. Then they buried bones and thought what they should write an inscription. It was buried by whom? You can write that you friends because you eat them, and you can write that you enemies because you were hunted for 3 years and 3 winters. Well, they thought and decided to write by colleagues. That's why colleagues in dangerous business are not friends. Before, let's say, it complexes ruined the fate of each of the characters we are shown directly or indirectly because, well, they I'm sure could have achieved the same level of wealth just a little later, but with less risk. And who knows, maybe even earlier, that the robbery, because they get the dope, they immediately start throwing it at dishes and drugs, and thus distract themselves from thinking about how to farm the dog. So you can work little over time, or you can spend time perishing spending money. That's how it works. Basically, I've outlined the situation from my perspective. True, Karl Ivanovich is also a bit of an insecure guy. I'm very easy to get him into some kind of bullshit. He's not interested at all. On the other hand, thanks of being put into some kind of bullshit, he became the manager of Mad Dog and ended up this situation where he became really super rich. But what is what it is? That's what it is. We can make past decisions in our life. Once again, the future is just a phantom which we either pray to or masturbate to or simply wait for. We live Friday and right now. So what I want to say, if you aren't happy right here and right now, then later, when you would have more or less cutted colored paper, you won't be more happy. If absolute values influence happiness, like physical security, if you have crazy people walking around after the war punching trees and looking at you with meaning, then of course it will cause problems and you'll be more concerned about your fate. But to experience happiness, you don't need any conditions. You can experience happiness for every fact of your existence, without having any proof of anything to anyone, especially not in real life, but in your own head, to your own hallucinations. So if you notice any complex, you can contact me. I usually spend 3 hours cleaning out any that prevents the gamma sapiens from being happy simply for the fact that they exist. Because of this, is forced to masturbate, drink food, long objectives in his mouth, inhale smoke, and generally engage in other inappropriate behaviors that he later regrets. So, if you want, you can contact me in description. By the way, I want to introduce not only my consultation consultation program, and I want to introduce you my plans on this channel. I want to open online hard roleplay server in Stalker, Medieval, and Fallout concept. So it's place when every Homo sapiens, every adventurer, trader, god, and high-level mutant would be real Homo sapiens. And I already have a scenario for all these projects. For example, for Stalker, I already have near 100 word-page scenario for it. It's only part of it, not at all. I can make more details in my free time for 300-400 pages more. So it would be really great serial when players can change subject in real life of the server. But for this I need your support. Not only cutted colored paper, because as I calculated, I need near 50 brands, 50 tons, 50,000, as you wish, 50,000 subscribers. So it would be stable online like 200 souls. So we can normal playing here. So I can make scenario. So I can realize my scenario to 0, like it was with Flinkhard Longworld story or my first series about Stalker roleplay. I think it would be a great adventure for all of us, but I need support for it. And it would be on English language server or Russian language server. Depends of auditory, of course. If I would take more support from
English auditory, like cutted colored paper, dollars of US, or a subscription more than from my Russian channel, I would make this service at English channel, of course. For English channel auditory, of course. If it would be more support from my Russian channel, it would be Russian service. But you, by the way, would see serial, but you can't be here on this serial because of language barrier. You can't communicate with Russian by knowing on English and another way too. Only I can, because I know. By the way, Babalat, I'm not American and not Russian at all. I'm more German, and I don't know German. Never mind. So that's why I represented my plan. I already have all this concept. I need finance, I think, just few thousand grants, because it need not much money. Pardon me, money means minutes, silver minutes. Not much US dollars, cutted colored paper for opening this scenario. We need not high-leveled development design like with Skyrim mods or Alpha. And for medieval roleplay, we even can play at Skyrim. No, Skyrim. Bannerlord engine. For example, I already know that in Bannerlord we have, not we, but someone already did Bannerlord online. So it could be real life fighting in Bannerlord. So we can make medieval games concept like this. And or at SAMP engine we can do it, San Andreas multiplayer. Or we can do it another way. For example, Fallout and Skyrim. Of course, Fallout roleplay can be at Fallout engine. Yes, we can do this, I suppose. And Stalker roleplay, I think, would be at San Andreas engine, because... or maybe a GTA 5 engine. I know that someone already did Survey by Stalker at GTA 5 engine. I mean, loaded maps, everything were good, but not at all, because there were not much support this scenario of gaming, of course. So I represented you my plans. If you have any things about it, you can write it in commentaries or write me in my Telegram channel, but it would be more at Russian language. I'm trying to make more posts so you can translate it by English with Telegram, how it better to say, with Telegram translator, located in Telegram, I suppose. By the way, you can send me information, some kind you think would be valuable for me in my game dev, in my private messages, or you can support by donation, or you can support by idea. All kind of support are welcomed with thankful. Well, fuck women's, eat meats, and make real money. Server, not cutted colored paper, and be happy. It's free. You need not to pay someone and do something for this. Just eat and sit in a home. It's enough. Walk in the street, walk in the forest. It's enough to be happy. Be happy.